Good evening, everyone. This is my audience. And today I'm going to be talking to you guys as a supporter for a policy that I think is extremely important in making sure the performance, honesty, and safety and security of our federal government is working at its highest potential. With this, I think it should be mandatory for drug testing in government companies and government jobs. As we look into the complexities of administration, it becomes to be crucial that these appointed with civil service follow the highest possible requirements of conduct. Drug testing is not an attack on individuals. Instead, it's a measure that should be taken to protect the public's interest, and to support the concepts of responsibility and obligation within our government jobs. So the first point that I want to take part in and explain to you is ensuring workplace safety. The biggest concern in any work environment is the safety and wellness of workers and the general public they serve. Drug use among government workers is such a big risk to work environment safety, especially in duties that involve using, say, heavy equipment or heavy machinery, or managing these important facilities that the government has. According to a study of research done by the Substance Abuse of Mental Health Services Administration, drug abuse adds to accidents, injuries, and mistakes in the work environment, gambling both lives and resources. Furthermore, the CDC has implemented several tests and studies of the effects of just marijuana. Out of all the drugs, put marijuana in its own category in the workplace. In a research completed by the National Institution on Drug Abuse, or the NIDA, they found that 85% of the people that tested positive for marijuana had work-induced injuries, leaving the 15% that didn't test positive had injuries of whatever kind. Marijuana in itself, used in the workforce, has had a significant negative effect on workers' ability to stay uninjured in the work environment. By applying a routine drug test, we can reduce these dangers and grow a society of safety and alertness in government companies. Number two, not only is it important to have the safety of not only yourself, but the coworkers that you work with, but it's also important to have the trust of the public, because you're put at such a high level as government workers. Public trust is the base of a strong administration and management. When people give their tax money and belief in the Fed government, they do it with the expectation that these officers will act with integrity and the responsibility that the public entrusted them with. However, the use of drugs in the workplace weakens their trust, spreading doubt on the integrity and trustworthiness of the people. A study done by Pew Research Center showed that public reliance on federal companies is currently at a historic low. Furthermore, an article published by Fiona Hill, it states, across the U.S., nearly 24 million people, a little over 15% of the workforce, are involved in military, public, and national service at the local, state, and federal levels. With just that fact, we can figure out that only 15% out of 24 million people, 15% of people want to work in the government. So that is already at a low, and having the drug use and not having regular testing provides a sort of less trust when it's already so low at 15%. And it makes it harder to trust someone that is already not trusted. This is why drug testing acts as a trusting measure to reassure the public and the people that government officials and workers are held to a higher standard and to better themselves. And the third point that I wanted to talk about is that we started off, not only is it important for the safety of yourself and others around you, but it's also important for the public to trust that the government is held at a higher standard because they're making essentially the rules and leading everyone, all the people. But the third is the health and the wellness of that individual person. Drug addiction is complicated and a harmful disease in a way, and it doesn't just affect the individual, but it affects everyone around him. So communities, neighborhoods, and things like that. By applying drug test programs, government companies can discover workers that might be battling with drug abuse and offer them and give them help or programs or things, the necessities that they need to get rid of this drug addiction. Research given in the Journal of Occupational and Environmental Medicine implements that workplace-based treatments such as drug testing along with workers' assistance programs work in advertising recovery and lowering drug abuse among employees. On that note, drugs have a detrimental impact to the body and mind. Just some of the impacts are nausea, a weakened immune system, abnormal heart rates, problems with memory, maybe seizures, and so many more. By focusing on the health and the well-being of these employees and this just goes down to the main level of any worker and but by focusing, we can reduce the risks and show a dedication to compassion as well as empathy. And it creates a community and a feeling that you're not alone in this. And that's why there are programs and are things for people that do struggle with drug abuse and so on. In conclusion, the application of mandatory drug testing for federal government workers is not just a policy that should be suggested. It should be crucial, or it is crucial. But by guaranteeing work environment safety, supporting the people's trust, and advertising worker health and well-being, drug testing acts as a barrier against these challenges facing our government. As the people trusting the government, it is important moving forward to enforce testing to better the government and the nation, and as a people as the whole, to better our society and to better our government. But it starts at the top and will eventually trickle down into the other companies. Thank you.